Hello, everybody. How's it going? My name is Braden Walbeck. I am a senior here at Stout, and I am a business administration major with an emphasis in marketing. So that is why I chose to go with a marketing firm for my interview. The guy that I interviewed, his name was Joe Novak. He is the founder of Empire Builders, which is from Eau Claire, Wisconsin. It is a digital advertising agency. It is a advertising agency that focuses mainly on website creation for one, and anything in the digital space. So that can include anything listed right there: Google AdWords, Facebook advertising, voice search commands, and just any general e-commerce type of advertising. So my correspondence with Joe began by just my searching of marketing firms in the area. I didn't know about Empire Builders prior to this project, so they're one of the first ones that I sent an email to, and I just got in contact with them simply with their contact us email funnel, just a form on their website that I filled out explaining the project and what I needed to ask, and pretty soon after I got a response from Joe, which was very quick actually. It only took about 2 or 3 days, so it's good to know that their contact us is working well. But then, so I set up a meeting with Joe. He seemed to be a very, very busy guy. I set up an interview with him a few days later, a phone interview, and he had to reschedule actually. I called him that day, and he didn't answer. So I figured I just got the boot and wasn't going to get an interview with him. But then he emailed me a little bit later and said he could do it. So we did it, set it up, um, and that's how I got my correspondence with Joe Novak of Empire. So I actually learned a decent amount from Joe. There were a couple things that he just affirmed of some kind of ideas that I had about the industry in terms of communication methods. Um, but let's talk about Joe quick for a little bit. Like I said, he is the founder of Empire Builders. I didn't get from him when he did find it, but as far as I know, Empire Builders has been around since I was in high school. I'm pretty sure, maybe it was freshman year of college. I remember it being in Eau Claire or hearing about it that while ago. And what he had to say was that, from his own words, he liked to label himself as a digital media expert. He just had many years of experience in the field. He talked about some of his work he did right out of college, working for firms. Back then, he said it wasn't as digitally focused as the company he has is 100% digitally focused. He was working for just general marketing firms where just some of their advertising uh, was in the digital space. But his main day to day is just the oversight of all client actions. So, he's the strategy, the brains behind the strategy that goes into the kind of marketing campaigns for the clients, and then his employees execute it. So when I did ask him about his forms of communication, as I explained the project to him, he said that his biggest form of communication from one human to another is emails. And that was the part to me that wasn't very surprising. That seems like something that it was pretty standard. And that's something that even for college students, a big form of professional correspondence is through emails. So that wasn't surprising at all. He did say that the second most common was phone calls. That was one of those things that he used for both his coworkers and for clients. Not as much as emails for both of those categories, coworkers and clients, but phone calls were still quite a bit. And phone calls, he said, were more used with current clients as opposed to, the new clients reaching out, but still a pretty close second. He said phone calls. He's on the phone quite a bit. Then I asked him a little bit more about communication. Obviously, with everybody having uh, touchscreen smartphones now in 2018, texting is, more used than ever. I know personally, I very rarely actually use the phone, but that's only in my personal life. I guess that's not very much in a business sense, but texting for me at least very well oversees phone calls. So I assumed for him he would be using texting quite a bit. He said he doesn't really text his clients very much. Maybe some current clients every now and then, but for the most part, it's either an email or a phone call. So he mainly said he uses texting for, his conversations with his subordinates. Some other things that he talked about that kind of changed how I viewed this project was how I don't know how to explain this. The communication, for the project initially, what I had thought of was just the communication that the companies use and how they communicate with each other and with their clients and with, each other, in their work field, between coworkers. But then Joe kind of talked about an interesting correspondence because for him and for the field I'm going into as a marketing manager, he has to also communicate to his clients' customers. And that's kind of a different level of thinking that I never really processed before doing this project. And that's when he kind of talked about the stuff listed here, like the sales copy, video dialogue, ad images, and Google link copy. So for instance, if he's running Facebook ads for some of his clients, his subordinates or himself need to come up with the copy or with the dialogue that goes into those posts, those promoted posts. And that is, if you're just doing an image and a post, obviously the image he said was number one. And then after that, people are going to read if they like the image, then they're going to read the sales copy, and that needs to be what draws in the most amount of people. And so that's a form of communication that I'd never really considered until, you know, part of this. I would say I knew sales copy was a big thing, but as far as, bringing it into this project, never exactly crossed my mind. Um, and then the same thing goes with the video dialogue. He said he outsources their video production if they do make videos to post, which he said doesn't they don't do it a lot. He said it's something that they want to integrate into because videos are becoming, you know, more and more of what the internet is, you know, used with. And then the Google link copy, that's for when you Google search, anything, right? And the first one or two, maybe three links, the ones that say ad before them, those are people who are paying to be there. So every click, charges them a certain amount. And that's how they, make their money by, the little words that are underneath the link. They want to make sure the words underneath are what, something that makes the link look clickable, and then the words, obviously the big blue ones, something that is easy to click, catches the eye. So my infographic is laid out as you can see on the right side. I ordered it from the what Joe said was the most used to the least used. I did not mention yet direct messaging and Skype. Direct messaging is mainly a thing that is used with influencers on Instagram and Twitter and sometimes Facebook, where if you have someone on Instagram who has like 100,000 followers, that's somebody that you can reach out to by direct messaging their Instagram, and either them or their assistants will reach back and tell you what their rates are for a post and for Instagram stories and stuff like that. He did say also to use Skype a little bit. That was mainly when he was traveling and he just wanted to have some kind of conferences with his coworkers. I figured I'd throw that in there. And I mentioned before how, like I said, emails are something that I figured would be the main correspondence between clients and coworkers. Um, that's that one was not very surprising, but like I said earlier as well, the other thing that really opened my eyes with this project and with creating this infographic was the two audience communication that he talked about, where you have to one communicate with your clients, and then as a marketing manager, you have to communicate with your clients' customers. So that level of thinking is something that I learned by this project and with making this infographic, and something that I see sticking with me and in my brain as I go into this field. But anyway, that is my project, guys. Thanks for listening.